I used a wine cork to get the drainage holes punched out. Took off all the labels because that really irritates me. First, I'll show you a few video snippets of these containers in use. Then we will go over fall prep, the cost, and a few other tips. Then we will end the video with a few ideas on what else might be a great choice to grow in these Dollar Tree stackable planters. Tiered stackable pots that I got from the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Some of the plastic has already kind of broke. You can see right here, here's a crack because of the weight once you put the soil in there, so beware of that. These teensy tiny ones, there were a 3-pack, they were $1.25. So I planted the globes here because I figured that would have enough space. It's probably gonna push the soil up and there would not be enough depth in the bottom to actually handle how long these French breakfast radishes are going to be. So these do like fairly moist but not soggy conditions, and that is hard when you get down to this bottom container because obviously you know how gravity works. It's all gonna go down here, and that's the one that's going to remain moist, and this one up top is gonna dry out because this one's in the sun and it's gonna bleach all of this out. There is no shade up here, so that does make growing them in these just a little bit of a slight challenge. You can see the growth, the height differentiation here. May 23rd, let's talk about these Dollar Tree stackable compartments. Well, these tiny ones are just that. It's only May and they dry out very, very quickly. Obviously, there's less dirt in here. I mean, compared to my hand, that's pretty small. They are awfully cute with these radishes in here. Are they not? I do not like when you are getting these so stacked up. They're hard to move unless you take these out individually. I wish I would have these on wheels, but it's gonna be hard with my concrete. And I don't really like how it's kind of difficult to water. Like to get down here, I would have to come down with the hose and just get this. But the top is gonna dry out first. The bottom, because it's partly shady, it seems to keep its moisture down there. And it's really kind of hard to control the bottom because that's how gravity works. And you can see how this top is drier and this down here much more just retains that moisture. Looking at our radishes here, and you can see in these very tiny containers how it is really drying out, which is creating a challenge. You do not want this to happen because this can give you a very woody type of taste in your radishes. Now, I've got some more over here, and they're not as dried out because the containers are bigger. So a great workaround for these containers, if you find that you need just a little bit more nitrogen for a certain plant, is using your dried up tea leaves or coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I worked on these tea leaves all winter long, and you just sprinkle a little handful around there, not a handful, a couple fingers full. Just sprinkle them around there, water them in. Much better than grass if you have something that's like lettuce or cilantro and you don't want to pick all of those individual grass clippings out. Tea grounds or coffee grounds are gonna do a fantastic job for you in these containers. You can see the shadow in the background, so there's actually the soil line. It still would have had enough room for that root to move around. So something to keep in mind. It is June 2nd. I am pulling all of the radishes in my containers. The more that I use these containers, the more that I kind of like them. I like how I can separate everything out. So I'm going to take this container, and once I harvest this container here, I'm just going to kind of store them. And I think these are probably going to be best used for spring, just fall, because you don't have a lot of soil in here, and this seems to dry out a lot. Hey guys, it's June 13th. It's time to talk about these containers again. Can you see this one here and this one here? Dead. Dead. Those violas. This one is barely making it. So I'm going to transplant these two just so I can have some survivability here. But for the fussy, delicate things, this is not good, especially for them to be on the bottom like that. Yeah. Not liking them for violas. So it's July 30th today. I hope that you enjoyed my spring harvest and tidbits footage on these little Dollar Tree containers. I've already refilled the soil, and you can tell from the very last one I did not do that yet. There's a couple things that I want to talk about though. I do have these spread out, so I do like the versatility of being able to do that, which I think will help greatly in the germination process when we're watering, so that things will grow evenly. Also, if you're going to grow carrots in here, you can actually put your little pieces of wood or thick cardboard to help to increase the germination process for carrots. Okay, let's talk a minute about the plastic. Because remember, I kept saying that this keeps splitting, and every time that I would fill one of these up in my back soil reserve, because I make my own soil here, it would crack. It would crack underneath these lids wherever I had it carried to. They would crack in the bigger ones, which I'm going to call these the normal size, and I'm going to call these small. So you know what I'm talking about. So with the small ones, it's the same plastic. It's the same kind, it's the same formula, it's the same thickness. They did not crack on the sides for these. However, this is heavier, it weighs more, that makes way more sense. These are the ones that crack. The more that I was able to work with these, the more that I liked them. I liked it that they were movable, they were versatile. I really liked the fact that they were also not connected. So I could go tall, or I could just go low with them. I really enjoyed that. And it took me a minute because I wasn't used to it. And then there were times that I did not like it because I really couldn't use the back because they were not on wheels. I was also afraid with something this tall that like a varmint would come down and topple it over, maybe try to climb up it, and then they've probably ruined my stuff, which would have really upset me. So if we look here in the video, this is where I have those violas, and you can see there's some algae now, because this is not usually what a cardboard egg carton looks like. So with some varieties that are going to be fussy, and probably fussy past a germination period, I mean, with germination, you need to have that stuff even. You can't have one dried out and one soggy, to where maybe the stuff in the middle might catch. So I do love the fact that you can spread these out for that. But something that is gonna be fussy the whole entire time might not want to grow it in here. And I thought that these here, this is what they were going to look like, would have looked perfect in these. These are a pack of 3. I have 3 steps. Could you not just see those pansies growing down there and start stepping? They are gorgeous. Anytime that I start something that I'm super, super excited about, I'll plant it in a couple different areas. Here's my second area. Are they not gorgeous? And I have it in a matching pot so that I can flank my doorway. And I've got some green beans growing up it. And you can see some green beans starting here, and I keep training them. Gonna have to come and get that one down. Yellow ones are also gorgeous. And if you can see here how they kind of spread out, I thought that would just be beautiful, cascading down those smaller planters. I mean, can't you just see it? But this is better not stacked, not tiered. Okay, here is my second spot in a galvanized tub with some basil. And these look lovely as well. All right, let's talk price here. They are cheap. These small ones cost me $3.75. So that's actually 0.07 cents per growing space. They're sold in a 3-pack. The bok choy, I think that mini bok choy would actually be perfect here, especially going into autumn when things are not going to bolt as quickly as they did for me in the spring. Now these ones here, I got a total of 18 of them, so that was $22.50. They were 2 cents per space for 18 containers. So the total of everything combined was $26.25. Okay, so now we are back in the house, and this is what I used in the regular size. I believe this will probably fit in the smaller ones. These ones were already in the smaller ones and worked well. Also, I think maybe some loose leaf lettuce, which this is that I got from Pine Tree, would probably work for maybe you just want a little handful for sandwiches. I think that would work great in there. Also, these Parisian carrots, which I have already grown, and I already have this from one of my trips to Paris. I think a lot of people have that. But look at how small those are. Those would probably fit in the small ones, if not for sure the regular ones. I've already grown these. I'm out of seeds. I can't show you the seed packet for this. However, you do need to keep these moist. And you do have another option, which is this Atlas, which is telling us that it's an improved variety of the 19th century Parisian heirloom. It does have rounded roots, flourishes in heavy or shallow soils, and grows well in containers. Keep well irrigated as drought stresses and can cause elongated roots. So this might work a little bit better in the normal ones because those little ones, they dry out so quick. And here I'm looking at Johnny's, which I think they actually do the best with their charts and their diagrams. They also sell this, and you can see that it looks like the actual root only comes down a little bit under 3 inches there. They also tell us here that there's stronger resistance to splitting than others of this type. Tops are short, but strong for easy bunching. So that would be nice to have some shorter tops on this. So that was Johnny's. You can also buy these. I think this is Pine Tree. Yep, Pine Tree. I do love Pine Tree. I love that Pine Tree tells us when something is an heirloom. Okay, and where I started, this one is Baker Creek. Love Baker Creek. Okay, so now let's look at seeds and such. When I started going from the greenhouse to actually doing my own seeds, I started with this catalog because it had such a great price if you bought 20 packets. This used to be, they were $1.99 each for 20 packets. This has really gone up. Looking at their carrots, there is also a Thumbelina carrot here. And we can see that this is 100 years old. It's heirloom, which is great for your seed saving. Require no peeling and retain the pumpkin colored orange skins when cooked. Highly productive, even in heavy clay soils, and ideal for containers. That's a good choice. All right, looking again at our radishes, this would be great for those small ones. And there are a couple here, like redhead, uniform globes that should be harvested at 1 inch. All right, we can definitely do that. When roots are mild, crisp, and succulent. Easter eggs, look at all the color of those. So this comes in red, pink, white, lavender, purple. Yeah, that would be really nice on a relish tray. Roots are about 1 inch, globe-shaped, all with white interiors. Flavor is mildly pungent and texture is crisp. Great for kids' gardens, especially if you pair them with those little tiny stackables. So I think these are some great options. I mean, you could really go crazy with some of these radishes. I do not care for them raw, but hey, I like them roasted and I liked them steamed. I did a full video on the radishes that I grew in that container. You just seen snippets. And I also did a full video on this mini bok choy. Again, you just seen snippets. Something that I grew prior, I think would be fine in the normal size or the regular size, would be these red of Florence onions. They do not have a long root system. They are going to push up, and they do have pretty long greens on them. A big reason why I wanted to start with Dollar Tree brand and not with those $300 to $500 options is you can quickly figure out the pros and cons for yourself for under $30. I was also worried about high winds and the height of those pricey tower systems. How quickly and easily could I really dismantle them if needed? And if any plastic or any parts broke, I would have thrown a fit in the front yard in front of neighbors and all for $300 to $500. My final verdict on these no assembly, budget-friendly Dollar Tree stackable containers are as far as I need to go for my current garden setup. They've done the trick and have answered my questions. I see no reason to take it up a notch and invest $300 or $500. I'll stay with these, thank you very much. But you make your own decision. My money, my decision. Your money, your decisions. Thank you so much for watching, and I invite you again to subscribe, as I have been gardening for over 40 years and have a lot to teach, show, grow, review, experiment with, and my favorite, a specific variety everything deep dive. So let's try new things together, mix it up, and have a glorious day.